Writing is interesting. It's sort of this double-edged sword for me. In so many ways, it is anxiety relieving, but it's also can be anxiety provoking. My name is Jordan Quinn, and I am an entrepreneur and an author. I was born in Ottawa and then moved to Whitby, which is where I lived until I grew up and went to university. Oldest of three. Love my siblings. I have a sister and a brother. The greatest parents in the world. And I went to the University of Western Ontario. Western was as much a learning experience and culture as it was, schooling. I majored in English while I was there, and I minored in Flip Cup, as all Western Mustangs do. It was like my first taste of freedom, but like without responsibility. So I had this one class that was the history of the English language. So we were learning about Old English and things like that. But our final project was a little bit more interesting, and I was able to practice a little bit more freehand. I just remember sitting there in my room writing this last essay. I was getting a little bit nostalgic, going, like this is gonna be the last paper I write. And after I submitted it and received my mark back and stuff, I thought to myself, I'm not done yet. I very quickly started collecting my thoughts and continued to use writing as my creative outlet. So as I had all these pieces collecting, I thought to myself, it's something I'd love to share. Maybe I could put this online and see what happens and see what people think, and it garnered some attention, so I continued doing it. Korkscrewed is the cocktails and confessions of a modern dating girl, and it's a series of dating revelations and anecdotes that I collected. A lot of it is awkward encounters and what the fuck moments. It started as a blog, garnered some attention, garnered the attention of somebody at a publishing house, and in speaking with them, I started to go, maybe there's some potential here. Maybe I can actually get a book published, and so that's what we did. I have dealt with anxiety since before I actually had the language to express what it is that I was feeling. I remember being in grade 1, and if I saw a cloud in the sky, I would be, so anxious that, there was a tornado coming. It was a very fear-based anxiety, and I didn't realize at the time that that's what I was suffering from, was a very serious case of anxiety. I just felt like I was different and I was weird. I got to university and actually lived with one of my roommates who has anxiety and was medicated for anxiety, and she just encouraged me to just go talk to somebody and see, and lo and behold, I was diagnosed with something that I very clearly had. I'd like to encourage anyone to learn something from this. It's that something could work really, really well for you for a period of time, but life changes. Much like anxiety, life ebbs and flows, things change. Writing is interesting. It's sort of this double-edged sword for me. In so many ways, it is anxiety relieving, but it's also can be anxiety provoking. Provoking in the sense that for me to write, I am just so particular about what my space needs to be like. I very much need silence, like just dead silence. And so a lot of the time for me, that means becoming a bit of a recluse, especially when I was writing that book, when I was meeting those harsh deadlines. Now, in this season of my anxiety, I find that I'm a chronic overthinker. I dive really deep and I just overthink things galore. And so having too much time cut off from other people wasn't the greatest for me. It's also so anxiety releasing for me because I think that, you get this built up creativity. And I think that being able to express myself in any way, for me it's writing, releases some anxiety, and I'm happy as I'm sitting there writing some of these thoughts. And I tend to write, just like my book, it's more humor and wit-based, and so I don't know, I laugh at my own jokes while I'm sitting there writing, so that always helps me too. The interesting part is that I learned so much about the way that I was reacting to being alone when I was writing, and so as I now have book 2 coming out, I'm being a little bit more relaxed on my deadlines. Right now, anxiety-wise, outside of writing, I'm doing well. I'm doing my research on my anxiety, which I would highly recommend anyone else do, so that you're in the know. Nothing is a surprise to you. I love what I do. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. And to be honest, owning my own business and managing my own schedule came in part being entrepreneurial, but also as a way to cope with my anxiety, as a way to be productive. And I think that in order to be successful with the new book, in my social and personal life, with my friends, my family, my boyfriend, I need to make sure that that's in check. So I think that taking care of myself is certainly a high priority for me right now.